Alright, hello everyone, this is Josh, also known as Yashu. You're just tuned into the Lens of Yashu, also known as like TOY Talks and all that too, for like another like exclusive interview like segment for the podcast and all that. You know, you can get this on all platforms: YouTube, Patreon, Spotify, like anywhere that you like listen to this like content and everything else too. And you know, I have like a very special guest with me today and all that too. Has made like a lot of hits like Ibiza, Panamera, has worked with a lot of like artists like in the American and Canadian like music scenes and all that too. Has signed with like Interscope and all that too, and has like released like a lot of projects like Wizard Boy, like Rose at the Mud and all that, and also God Bless the Mafia side A. So we have Astrokidjay in the building. Go, how are you doing, man?
Bro, appreciate you for having me.
Yeah, man. Like I know, like I've seen like the journey so far from like 2018 until like now and all that. From you making like a lot of like records of like a lot of like known artists to even like being an American and all that too. So it is like amazing to see and all that, and like it's dope to have you on today and all that too. So like I've seen like a lot of like the interviews and like all the other content and all that too. And like I want to diving like deep into like the music right now. Was Brampton like an industry like end back then? Or just as like a community, like at that time, like in regards to the music and all that.
What do you mean by industry?
Like because like I know like in Toronto, like we had like big places like Rexdale, Regent Park, where like a lot of like the artists like kind of made it big, and then it kind of led to like other artists like kind of like making at that time too. So like with Rexdale, they had like Jellystone and like Jelly Fly and like all those other people, and then it would like lead to other people like coming up like Pilla, B, Pyrex, like those people too. So with Brampton, like knowing that it had like big people like Tory Lanez, Alicia Cara, was it kind of like that same too where it made like superstars like, or was it just like more so kind of like rooted in community, and then it didn't become like big until like later on?
I feel like my time's coming up when I just started rapping. I feel like Brampton is way more of an industry end now, but we still did have like superstars that already like made it out of the city at that time. We still had like we still had Tory Lanez, we still had the Tobys, you know what I mean? We have like NBA players and all types of stuff out of Peel in general, you know what I mean? But I feel like now it's like there's way more light on the West End and way more light even. I don't want to just put like Brampton in there. I just want to put like all of Peel. You know what I mean? Because we have, who do we have? We have Roy Woods. You have Tory Lanez. If I'm not wrong, I think Shawn Mendes is from Brampton.
Pickering actually. So.
Pickering?
Yeah.
Oh, my fault.
Yeah. I mean, Alicia Cara, I know like in the like Punjabi.
Alicia Cara's from Brampton too?
Yeah.
Word. Alicia Cara, like, see, I didn't even know that.
Yeah. I know in the Punjabi scene and all that too. I know like A.R. Paisley, he's from Saga, but like he's like
A.R.
kind of making
Paisley, like, you know what I mean?
Sonny Malton,
D Pride,
Sidhu Musewala and all that. Like he actually used to go to school in Brampton until he passed away too.
Wow, so I didn't even know Sidhu Musewala went to school in Brampton. See, so there's a lot of legends that come from Brampton, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And just kind of like amalgamate into like something like even like bigger and all that too. And
but yeah, I do feel like there's way more light on Peel right now, to be honest, because there's so many new fire upcoming artists from Peel, and I feel like we have our own sound too, you know.
Okay, that's facts, man. And I want to ask, like, how did you get into like rapping, like making music and all that?
So yeah, coming up, I was never like a guy who said, yeah, I'm gonna be a rapper. I want to be a rapper. You know what I mean? I just really enjoyed music. I liked music, and I enjoyed listening to music. And I would freestyle with my friends here and there, but it would just be for fun, you know. And yeah, I remember one day, I'm like, yo, you know what? Let me just try something for fun. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna try it and keep it to myself. So I booked a studio session with this studio called Ambitious Youth. It was in the basement at the time in Brampton. So yeah, I went there, recorded a record, and yeah, I kept it to myself. I kept playing it to myself for like a week, and I'm like, yo, this is pretty tough, you know? Let me see what my friends are gonna think. If they think it's tough, then it should be good enough to put out, and let's just see what it does, you know? So I played it for my homies and stuff, and like, yo, this is super fire, put this out. And that was like the SoundCloud era time, you know? So yeah, I uploaded on SoundCloud the next day, went to school, and everybody was listening to it. And they're like, yo, you gotta keep going. Yo, this shit's mad hard, blase, blase, blase. And I'm like, huh. If everyone's saying it's hard, I might as well keep continuing, you know? So I think a couple months after, I put out a record called Dolo, and I actually shot a video for it. So that was like my first real record that I shot a video to. Went to a proper studio for all of that. Put out the record, and it actually got some traction. A couple more months went by. Went to the studio again. This time, I recorded this record in a studio house, and the studio room was in a closet. So that's where I made Ibiza. I made Ibiza. Dropped the snippet. I shot the video at a random house party that I went to. Shot the video, got the video out, put out the snippet, and I woke up, and that shit just went viral. You know what I mean? And from there, I just continued. I'm like, yeah, I'm clearly supposed to be doing this. So.
Because you mentioned like the SoundCloud, you mentioned like the SoundCloud era, like too. Because I know like that era, it wasn't like as like pivotal like within like social media too. Because like there wasn't like TikTok or anything like that. Too.
Right, TikTok didn't exist. All of these new social media platforms that we have to push our music now didn't even exist that time. But we had SoundCloud though, and SoundCloud was like a big thing because that was like, what era was that? Lil Pump, Ski Mask, Kodak, Lil Uzi Vert. You know what I mean?
I mean, they also had like I think like Musically and like Triller and all that too, and like. I mean, there was like I think another one too, like Periscope.
Triller was one of them too.
Yeah, like Periscope. Like I know, like Periscope was like kind of big for like people to like preview music, all that type of stuff too, to do like streams and all that too. So I think that was like kind of like interesting to see like how it goes and all that too. And it's like definitely like amazing to see like how like these like different opportunities like happened and all that too. So
right.
And as far as like your musical like background and history, did you have like any family that were like doing the music back then, and like what inspired you to do this and like take it seriously?
The Ibiza record, to be honest. No, I didn't have no like family members that made music in the past or make music right now. I think I'm the only one. But yeah, Ibiza. I made Ibiza and I put out this snippet and it went crazy, Everybody was fucking with that. So from there I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna take this rap shit serious from here on out.
Okay. And as far as like your influences like go, like do you have the artists or genres like that you're like mainly like influenced by in that sense?
I don't think there's like a specific artist or a specific genre, but I take a bit of inspiration from everything and everyone. You know what I mean? Because I listen to a lot of artists and I listen to all types of music. Like I listen to R&B, I listen to hip hop, I listen to trap soul, I listen to K-pop. You know what I mean? So I double and dabble in everything and take inspiration and bits and parts from everything. You know what I mean?
And so, like, in terms of, like, your current, like, playlists, like, nowadays, too, like, who are you, like, currently, like, listening to, like, at the moment?
Let's go on my phone, let's see. Rio the Young OG.
Alright.
Lil Baby. Saw Baby. My homie Evergreen just created that project, so shout out to him.
Alright.
Brent Fires. Young Boy. Lil Durk. Sade.
Nice.
Summer Walker. A lot of old Drake. Lauryn Hill.
Yeah,
a bunch of stuff, man. A lot of Afrobeat, Rema.
Because I know, like, with, like, this, like, new current sound, too, like, it changes, like, every other time, too. Like, I know for me, like, I'm, like, currently, like, listening to, like, Camilla Cabello, like, with her new project and all that.
Fire.
Pink Panther's, like, she's, like, kind of, like, doing
she's
the thing.
Super dope, too.
Yeah.
Word.
And then there's, like, a lot of, like, artists, too. Like, I know, like, A.R. Paisley dropped something, like, a while back, too. So I was, like, kind of, like, tapping into. So, like, it changes, like, every time, too. And, like, it all depends on the mood, style, and everything else, too. So.
Yeah, right. Same with me. It really just depends on the mood, what type of day I'm having,
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So to kind of, like, amalgamate to that, so, like, when in terms of, like, your creative process and everything else, too, so what's that kind of like nowadays, too? And, like, what would, like, a day, like, in the studio be like?
My creative process. Honestly, a lot of people, like, ask me that question and I don't really know how to answer because I don't feel like I have a specific creative process. Like, I just come to the studio and however I'm feeling that day is what I let out on a record.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't usually go for a specific sound when I'm going to the studio or like today I want to make an R&B record or today I want to make a trap record or whatever. Like, I just go in there and just vibe out and whatever comes out of it, comes out of it. I don't have like no premeditated ritual I do before I record or anything like that. Yeah, I just put on a beat. And yeah, I just vibe out. So wherever the vibe takes me.
That's true. And it, like, all depends on, like, how good the engineer is, how good the producer is, and all that, too, so.
Word, right. I feel like, and I work with a lot of in-home producers and in-home like engineers and stuff like that. Like, everybody I work with is actually my homie. So yeah,
Okay.
like I feel like the vibe's always gonna be there. They know what I'm looking for. They know what sound I'm
True.
searching for.
Yeah,
You know?
that's facts.
Right.
And like I usually ask like a lot of people like this, like in terms of like being in the right element too. But do you think like like being in the element like like smoking weed or like sipping licks like it helps create like the best like form of music too, or like it all like depends on the situation?
I feel like everybody's different. You know, everyone's different. For me personally, I feel like weed, it just calms me down. You know what I mean? Puts me in a mood, like not a mood, but like puts me in a vibe. Like I'm relaxed. You know what I mean? My mind's open.
Okay.
I don't think it helps me with my creative process because I feel like I could still make a record regardless, even if I'm smoking or not. But it definitely makes the session a vibe. Like you know what I mean?
All right, that's facts,
So
man. And I know you have like your latest single right now with like Stoplights too. So to speak more on that, like what inspired you to like work on that record and all that?
stoplights. The record's basically about like you just gotta keep going. You know what I mean? Like Onyx is green. Nigga, don't stop at the lights. Like you know you're gonna get like obstacles and you're gonna go through trials and tribulations and there's always gonna be like a brick wall, somebody trying to block you or something trying to block you. You know what I mean? When you're working towards a goal or you're working towards being successful, so you always just gotta keep going. That's literally what the record's about. It's pretty straightforward. Just never stop. Because I feel like throughout my career, I've been like through so many ups and downs. You know what I mean? I had high moments and I've had low moments. So I just kept going regardless, and that's what got me here today. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
that's basically what the record's about. Pretty straightforward. I just want everybody to keep going, never stop, be consistent. You're gonna get obstacles in life, like you know what I mean. There's always gonna be some challenges, but you always just gotta keep going, never stop. Feel me?
Yeah, that's facts, man. And like like when I was like listening to like all your other stuff too, like I think the first time I've actually taken like music like a lot more seriously was like when you dropped like Rose Out the Mud, which kind of had like a great vibe, great like style to it. And then like I listened to like all the other stuff too with like Wizard Boy,
Right.
God Bless the Mafia, like Side A too. Like I could definitely say Panamera was like kind of like one of my favorite tracks that I've
Appreciate
been like
you.
listening to like lately too. So what inspired you to like even like drop like those like projects and all that?
I'll just go one by one. Like, so yeah, Wizard Boy, I just wanted to create, this was early on when I was just starting, right? And it was my first mixtape, my first project. I just wanted to create something fun, like curate something that people could just jump up and down to, work out to, drive fast to, you know what I mean? I just wanted to create a fun project, showcase my sound. That was pretty much it, like the goal I was going for Wizard Boy. There wasn't really anything like specific, like I wasn't trying to give out a specific message or anything like that. I just wanted people to have fun. Tracks you can spin in the club, all of that. There wasn't really a specific message, you know what I mean? Rose Out the Mud was my first project that I got to drop with a record label, a real record label, you know what I mean? So I feel like from Wizard Boy, I wanted to showcase my versatility. I wanted to showcase that I don't just rap. I could like tap into different genres. I can make trap soul. I can make R&B. I can make soul music. You know what I mean? So that's basically what I wanted to showcase on Rose Out the Mud. So that's why it basically sounds like just one sound, like all R&B-ish, trap soul-ish, whatever the vibe is. And I also wanted to create something the ladies could listen to because I feel like Wizard Boy was something most males would listen to, you know what I mean? And God Bless the Mafia, I feel like after I dropped Rose Out the Mud, people really enjoyed that project, but there was still a specific part of my fan base, like a certain part of my fan base that wanted like nitty gritty, cold Astro, Toronto vibe Astro, you know what I mean? So yeah, I flew back to the city, locked in for a couple weeks and made GBTM, and yeah, I just wanted to give the people what they wanted, you know?
Yeah.
So that's how GBTM came about. And I was watching a lot of like Pesci movies and like The Godfather and stuff like that. So that's how I just came up with the whole mafia theme and shit like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so I came up with those projects.
So like as far as like even like with the mob stuff too, so do you have like kind of like favorite like mob movie, TV show, and all that too? Like I know there's like a lot that are going on. So
favorite mob movie. I wouldn't say it's a mob movie. It's not specifically like the mafia, but I'd say Scarface.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's facts. I know first Godfather's like actually pretty well too. Same with the Godfather 2, Scarface. Well, not Scarface, but I'd say Goodfellas is pretty good too.
Goodfellas is
Yeah.
great. Right.
Sopranos like it is like also like an interesting series too, where they have like different elements to like more of a modern side too. So,
Right.
and then they have like the many scenes from like Newark too. So like definitely like check that out too. So
I'd also say Snowfall. I know it's not specifically like the mob, the Italian mafia or whatever, but those are my favorite shows like that. I would say that. Yeah.
that's facts. And to speak more on your experience, dealing with the music industry, like in the States and all that. So, how was that like, and like, what were like some misconceptions that you like to share about that?
Misconceptions about being signed to a label.
Well, more so, just like being like, seeing like the music industry like in the States, because I know in a previous interview you talked about like recording music like in America, going to like different cities like in LA,
Mm-hmm.
New York, Miami, like Atlanta, and all that too. So,
I'd say one of the misconceptions is that like when you sign to a label, you're like selling your soul away. Like, you don't own anything. Like, your career's done. You're in a 360. That's wrong. Like, every artist has a different contract. You know what I mean? Like, someone told me that there's no there's no bad contract. It just depends on the way you negotiate your contract. You know what I mean? And I know there's a lot of people who have like a fucked up deal, but I feel like it's just about the way you negotiate it. You know what I mean? Because there is a lot of people who've signed to a label and came out really really successful too that we see till today. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's not a 360 when you sign to a label and blase blase blase. It just depends how you negotiate your deal. If you don't negotiate your deal properly and you signed a fucked up deal and end up in a 360, that's on you. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
everybody who reads into their paperwork, gets a proper lawyer and all of that, they don't end up in bad deals. So
Yeah.
that's one misconception I wanted to clear up. Um,
I guess like with the experience, it's like you're going to these like different cities and all that, like interacting with like a lot of the producers,
right.
label heads, like all that sort of stuff too. So it's like very different from. It's like more like open, like spacious, as opposed to here where it could be like very like limited, like resources and all that.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and being with, it's not a misconception like what you're saying, but like I'll talk on that too. Yeah, being with a label, like you get way more opportunities to showcase your sound because they put you in way more rooms than you can get into independently. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that you can't get into the rooms independently, but it's way more challenging
Yeah,
opposed to being with a label. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
that's facts.
So
Because I know like with like a lot of people who are like kind of like signed to like certain deals too, they'll have like certain advantages too to do like certain PR. So like some like they'll do like the occasional like on the radar like freestyle from the block freestyle. Like they're doing certain interviews with like smaller platforms as opposed to like the big ones that most
like the
artists are doing.
Breakfast
So
Club and
yeah,
all of that, yeah,
yeah,
for sure. And another thing too is just development. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like every artist needs development, and I needed artist development. So I feel like that was another reason, one of the reasons why I wanted to be signed to. But personally, I don't think I had like a bad experience with the label I was signed to, but I do know that there's a lot of people who signed fucked up deals and then put out that narrative that signing with the label is like some crazy insane shit you're getting yourself into. Another misconception is that people think that when you sign with the label you've made it right there and then and you could just chill, but when you sign with the label you got to go 20 times harder. Like you work like a robot, a machine, you know what I mean? Because now it's not just you're doing it because you enjoy the music and fun, it's now a business and people need to recoup their money and they need to make money off of you too, and you need to make money for yourself, so it's a whole different ballgame, you know what I mean?
yeah. That's facts. And
So
how was that feeling like when you signed to like Interscope too? Because well, like via like Listen to the Kids slash Geffen, and what is your like relationship with them like now?
Uh, that was a great feeling, honestly. Like, it was something I was working towards. I did want to sign to a major in America. Um, yeah, it was a great feeling, honestly. Like, I just felt like what I'm doing is paying off, and I'm finally in position to push my career to new heights and in a position to put other people in position. You know what I mean? I could help out a bit more than what I was doing before I was signed to a label.
Yeah.
Obviously, the money is great, so I could I had the opportunity to like change my life, change my people's life, change people around me. So it's like, yeah, great experience, great feeling overall. I can't lie.
So I guess it was kind of like an interesting experience, even like being around like people like that, like from like the Yeats, the Summers, the I think Dina Iada's like kind of like signed to that label too, so it's like kind of interesting too. So yeah,
And I have a great relationship with them now. Did what was needed to be done, finished my term, and yeah, we're in great standing. But I don't have anything like
okay,
crazy to say about that.
Yeah.
But just I had a great experience working with Interscope.
Okay, that's facts. And like I know you talked about it like recently too. So like, how did you manage to work with like Streameum? And in your experience, how has like Streameum like helped you as like an artist? And like, how do they like benefit like Toronto rappers in like some way, like in terms of like releasing music and such?
So they reached out to me for a single. They wanted to drop a single together, and we met up, had a great convo, shot the video, put out the record, and it did really well. A lot of people were fucking with it. We put out another record. A lot of people were fucking with it, and we just said, "Yeah, fuck it. Let's make a whole project." It's not out yet, but it's definitely in the works right now. It's coming out soon. And how do they help other artists? You're saying? Because what you're asking?
Yeah, like just like with the Toronto rap scene, because I know they've worked with like a lot of like big rappers, like they've gotten like a lot of like big streams too. Like I think it was like kind of like one of like the popular like platforms like throughout like last year and all that too, and like now they're taking it like way beyond and all that. So
Um, I feel like for one, I could say about Streamium is like they're a gatekeeper's worst nightmare because they're not biased. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter where you're from, what you have circulating around you. Like if you make good music, they're gonna promote it. They're gonna push it on their platform for the world to see. I feel like they've given a lot of people in the city a chance to showcase their sound, and a lot of platforms have had the chance to do that, but didn't do it to the extent they're doing it at. You know what I mean? Um, I feel like they're bringing unity too because if you go look at a Streamium project, there's people from like opposite blocks that might have whatever going on with each other, but they're still on a project all together and happy that the project is doing well and like you know what I mean. What else can I say that Streamium does for people? Like it's an independent distribution company, so like yeah, they put all of your records on all DSPs. They'll give you the playlist, you know what I mean, to push your records, and they'll just give you the platform to push your records in general. Like they market your records, they do what needs to be done. You know what I mean? So, yeah,
yeah,
I would just say yeah, Streamium's great because yeah, they just give everybody an opportunity. You know what I mean? If you're a good rapper, you're gonna get an opportunity. Not even a good rapper, but a good artist in general, you're gonna get an opportunity to showcase your talent with them. And we don't have a lot of platforms like that in the city that even take a chance with everybody. You know what I mean? So that's what I could say about
yeah.
Streamium.
Because it's like kind of like more like DIY and all that too, in terms of like the
Right.
releases and all that too. Because I know Studio of Legends like they're doing like some stuff like that too. I know Six Buzz like back in the day they used to like have like those like two
Yeah,
albums and
Six
then
Buzz was tough back in the day too. Six Buzz was uh one of those platforms that we had back in the day to like yeah everybody could just like tap it with buzz it freaking drop out there and showcase your talent. But yeah, now we have Streamium, and I feel like they're doing it on a bigger scale. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So
That's facts. I kind of like moved this like question like a little bit too, but like with your experience, like what were like some key differences like you've noticed like when working with like American artists versus like when working with like Canadian artists and all that.
mm, honestly, there's not that much of a difference. Like you're gonna vibe out with who you vibe out with. Like I feel like I've worked with artists from all over, all different parts of the world, but like it's all the same. Like there's no like I worked with an American rapper and he works faster than a Canadian artist and his work ethic is better or a Canadian art like it's all the same, Get in a session, smoke up, listen to the beats, vibe out, chat, you know, and make some magic type shit. But yeah, I don't feel like there's any like big differences with working with the Canadian artists and working with the American artists. But one thing I could say about like the American music industry and the people who work in the industry, they're like way more welcoming. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That pride is not there. They're if they fuck with your music, they're ready to contact you and hit you up, and they don't feel a way about you feeling like, oh, like this guy's dick riding or blase blase.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? They're gonna reach out. Yeah, everybody's just welcoming and mad humble and ready to work. That's what I could say about the American industry. And what I could say about Canadian artists is that, yeah, there's like more pride and shit over here. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to be the guy opposed
Yeah.
instead of like working together. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? To like make a great record that could benefit the both of us type
Yeah.
shit.
Kind
A lot of
yeah.
yeah, pride and bullshit and stupid petty shit in the way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, like kind of like the screw face capital like feeling and all that too. Like
Literally,
I know like there is like a little bit of improvement with like people from like out west, like Vancouver, Winnipeg,
right.
working with like a lot of like Toronto artists too and all that. So I do see like a little bit of improvement and all that. And I have seen like a lot of like Toronto and Canadian artists like going on tour like to like different areas too, like Ottawa, Belleville, like all those like other parts too. So
I feel like yeah, there's just more unity over there than there is over here. You know what I mean?
yeah, that's facts. And do you have any regrets in your life overall, or you regret like nothing and all that?
It's a good question. I don't feel like I have any regrets in life because everything I've been through has created the person that's sitting here today. You know what I mean? All the experiences I've been through made me grow up as a man. All the experiences I've been through like taught me right from wrong, you know? And I've learned from all the experiences I've been through, you know what I mean? For the better, then to change for the better. So no, I don't have any regrets because I feel like if I never went through what I went through, like I wouldn't have the mindset or have the perspective to view things the way I view things now, you know what I mean? So yeah, life's all about growth and developing. So you're gonna go through some shit, you're gonna go through some bullshit, but you're gonna learn from it and grow for the better, you know what I mean? So yeah, I don't think I have any regrets.
Yeah, that's facts, man. And I know, like, we're in a new year right now, 2025 and all that, too. So, what do you have coming up for this, like, new year and all that in terms of, like, any releases, any projects, and so forth? So,
Yeah. I have a lot coming out the way. I don't want to, like, give it out, but yeah, I do have a project with Streameum on the way real soon. I don't have a specific date for it soon yet, but real soon. I have a couple projects coming this year, you know what I mean? And I feel like this year I'm about to introduce a whole new side of me, a whole new lane of music that people didn't expect from me, you know what I mean? So, yeah, I just want people to, like, stay tuned and just wait for that. West Side music, you know, a new era, a new group, a new sound. Yeah, man, people are just gonna have to stay tuned and just wait to see what happens.
That's facts, man. And do you have any like closing remarks you'd like to say before you go?
I just want to say shout out to my brother Quasi. You know what I mean? We have a lot of insane shit on the way, and I'm sure the people know, but it's bigger than what they think. A lot of new crazy sounds on the way. I appreciate everybody. I appreciate everybody that listens and streams my music. You know, takes time out of their day to like repost, comment, like everything, and yeah, a whole lot of new shit on the way, man.
That's facts. And, you know, Astrokidjay, you know, it's like dope having you on and all that. To having like
You,
the discussion, like talking about like music, everything like that too. And, you know, wishing nothing but the best and all that, you know.
Thank you for having me, broski.
Yeah, that's facts, man. So, this is Josh, also known as Yashu, on the lens of Yashu /TY Talks. You can get this on all platforms: YouTube, Spotify, all the other stuff and all that too. Definitely check out Astrokidjay's music and all that too, you know, on all platforms. Definitely like check out like Stoplights, like on all platforms, like stream it like as much as you can and all that too. And, you know, we're just gonna sign off right now, you know.